Hello and welcome to the Code Station. From the next video, we will be starting a new series on web development. It includes HTML, CSS, JavaScript and in-depth explanation of it. At the end of this series, we will be having some projects. There we will be applying the concepts we learned in this series. In this 5G internet world, almost everyone at one point we have interacted with the browser to access websites and web pages. Have you ever wondered how browser displays the web page? In this video, we will decode how browsers work. What is a browser? A browser is an application program that provides a way to look and interact with all the information on the www. It's nothing but World Wide Web. This information can be of any kind like images, videos, web pages, etc. Now let's see how browser fetches the information from www. Before we see this, we should know some commonly used browser terms. URL, Uniform Resource Locator, addresses a unique resource on web. It is a reference to a resource that specifies its location on computer network. URL contains three parts. They are protocol, domain and path to the resource. It is a mechanism for retrieving the information from the web. You can see the example on the screen. Next, HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, used for creating web layouts. It is a standard markup language for creating web pages. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, allows fetching of resources like HTML documents, images, etc. It is an app layer protocol designed to transfer information between network devices. Next, HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, works as HTTP but with encryption for a secure server communication. This encryption is done using transport layer security or secure socket layer. It is an extension of HTTP. IP address. It is nothing but Internet Protocol address, specifies or spots the location of specific server connected to the internet. There are four types of IP address: public, private, static and dynamic. Next, DNS, Domain Name System. It is a database containing domain records which translates human readable URLs to the IP address. Next, cookies. These are small text files that are stored on the user device by a website to track users' activity on the site. Functions of a browser. Let's discuss what are the key features and functions of a browser. First, we use browsers for web page rendering. Next, navigation. When a URL is entered in the address bar or clicked on a link, it will navigate to the related pages. Bookmarks. Let's save and organize frequently used websites. Tabbed browsing. This feature facilitates multitasking and makes it easy to switch between different browsers without changing your screen. Search functionality. Includes search bar located in the toolbar, integrated with popular search engines like Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo. Instead of going to different search engines every time, you can directly enter keywords or phrases into the search bar. Browser sends your query to the chosen search engine. Now let's discuss in depth the architecture of browsers. Browsers are responsible for retrieving and displaying web pages and contents to the user. When a user enters a URL or clicks on a link, the browser initiates a series of actions to retrieve the web content from the server and display it on the user's device. Browser is a group of structured code that together performs a series of tasks to display web page on screen. Browser contains 7 parts: user interface, browser engine, rendering engine, networking, JS interpreter, UI backend and data persistence. Now let's discuss each of these components in detail. User interface. It includes address bar, next button, home, refresh and stop, except web page display part. Next, browser engine. Acts as bridge between UI and rendering engine. Rendering engine. It is responsible for rendering the requested web page. It intercepts HTML and XML documents. Different browsers use different rendering engine. For example, Internet Explorer uses Trident, Firefox uses Gecko, Chrome Opera uses Blink, and Safari uses WebKit. Next, networking. It retrieves URL using the common internet protocols like HTTP, FTP. It handles all aspects of internet communication and security. It is responsible for resolving website URL into IP address. Whenever the user enters the URL in the search bar, there are series of complex operations happen to resolve it into IP address. First, the browser checks its local cache if the website is visited previously. If it doesn't find there, it searches in operating system cache. If it doesn't find there also, it goes to router cache and search there. Even if it doesn't find there, it goes to DNS. So this is the place where DNS lookup happens. Now, JS interpreter. Component of browser which interprets and executes the JS code embedded in a website. Interpreted results are then sent to rendering engine, UI backend. So this is the component where all the code related to checkbox, radio, input are processed. Next, data persistence. It is like local storage. It contains file system, IndexedDB, etc. Now let's discuss in detail how rendering engine works. Network layer sends the content requested to the rendering engine in chunks of 8 KB. The basic flow, it's like parses the HTML to construct the DOM tree, renders the tree construction, layout of the render tree, painting the render tree. First, rendering engine process the HTML document and construct the elements to DOM nodes in a tree called context tree or DOM tree, and also parses external CSS files as well. While DOM tree is being constructed, the browser constructs render tree. It's like visualization of elements in order in which they will be displayed. Like Firefox calls this render tree as frames, and WebKit calls this render tree as render object or renderer. Next, layout process of render tree. When renderer is created and added to the tree, it does not have any position and size. The process of calculating the values is called layout or reflow. This process defines where each node should appear on the screen. Initial, the position of root render is 0, 0, which is top left respectively. And the dimensions are the dimensions of the viewport, which are visible part of the web browser. Next, painting. In this stage, render tree is traversed and renderer's paint method is called to display content on the screen. This is how the series of complex operations happen behind the scenes of browser to display the web page to your screen. Why to know how browsers work? As a web developer, learning the internals of browser operations help you make better decisions and know the justifications behind development best practices. Thank you. Stay tuned to the Code Station. Don't forget to like, share this video to your loved fellow software enthusiasts. Until next time, happy coding. Bye bye.